Oh my God, the book is finally here. And so excited to be gathered for this very important event. We are so proud of our sister Nkechi. She has been a perennial source of energy in our movement for decades, always a source of energy and excitement and tirelessness, even with her personality, the way she speaks. Um, there's never been a meaningful meeting or movement I've been involved in that Nkechi wasn't involved in. And that
Masamela, you too kind. You too kind, my brother.
that's real. And I'd walk in the door in some situations, and if I didn't see you, I say, well, maybe this ain't what it's really supposed to be. But congratulations, first of all, Black Power, Black lawyer. This is great. Congratulations. You must feel, and I watched the piece you did on the Wednesday seminar with Tony Browder and Atlantis Browder. I mean, it really has been like giving birth to another child, hasn't it?
Yeah, birthing a baby in the middle of a pandemic.
And
Can you believe it?
I don't know. People like us are so busy. That's why I can't write a book. When did you, I'm trying to figure out when you wrote this book.
Well, Masamela, I swear, this has been decades in the making. The book was supposed to come out when I was 50. We won't say how much older I am than 50 right now, but it didn't come out then because, the struggle, the movement, everything's happening. When are you going to find time? But actually, it wasn't something that I just started writing and wrote it and then finished. I've been collecting stuff ever since I was a teenager, actually. That's why I have so much material and firsthand material in there because I'm a pack rat and I would keep stuff. I got speeches that I wrote way back then. I got flyers, I got posters, I got, letters, you name it. So it's been a long journey. I'm just glad this finally come to fruition.
You said on August 19th on the other webinar you did that your book and what you described, which I find hard to believe, but you said this, it might be somewhat conservative and mild in this moment in history. Why do you say that?
I mean, who would have guessed what is going on now? When I first titled my book, Black Power, Black Lawyer, I thought, oh my God, this is radical. This is black this, black that. It's going to be too much for people. Oh my goodness. And now I'm thinking it's just too mild. When you talk about defunding the police, when you talk about the issue of reparations being totally and completely mainstream with 2020 candidates talking about it, it's like the things that I thought were very cutting edge and kind of like over the top, it's like normal now, the term white supremacy, everyday common parlance. It's like, am I kind of, I'm wondering, am I kind of behind the times now? Because the young folk, they got this, they got this and they running with it.
Yeah. But I think the book too is instructional for young people. Cause I mean, your book could almost be a school textbook, Nkechi. I mean, it ought to be, is that your goal too, to have it at the university level and elsewhere, people reading your book?
Actually, I characterize my book as part memoir, part textbook, part study guide, and part expose. I said that it teaches, it preaches, it rhapsodizes, and it tantalizes. So there's something in there for everybody. There will be study guides that go along with it. Some professors have already said that they want to use it as part of their classes, but it's great for book clubs as well, because it's not just a documentary or anything like that. It's a personal story. It's a human story. Yeah, it has all of the struggle in it and all like that, but it has vulnerabilities in it as well. It has the personal stories. It has the flaws that accompany just about any human being, but in the context of people struggling for liberation, I guess you could say.
We're going to come back to some of those personal stories and frailties and some of those salacious details in a minute.
Well, no, I'm going to say, get the book. But it is some saucy stuff up in there.
Well, we're gonna try to tease out a little of the saucy stuff. You mentioned some ancestors that I too was honored to spend a little time around. To hear the names of Imari Obadele, Republic of New Africa, Kwame Afo, that was my main man in D.C. Ishaka Musa Barashango. I mean, these are some of the people that helped to shape you, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely. And actually, these are some of the people that I dedicated the book to. Four brothers and four sisters, all now ancestors. I sat at their feet. I learned from them. I cut my teeth, I guess you could say, in their wisdom, from Reverend Shakamusa Barashango, from the Temple of the Black Messiah, to Brother President Dr. Imari Abubakari Obadeli. There's a whole, I words cannot just express the impact he had on my life. Brother Attorney Chokwe Lumumba, my legal, mentor. Brother Kwame Afo, oh my God, so much wisdom. And the sisters, Queen Mother Audley Moore, sitting at her feet. Not everybody can, say that. The great reparationist icon. I'm talking about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, long before the term white supremacy, everybody was talking about it. She was spot on, way back then. Dr. Jean Sindel, most folks don't even know who I'm talking about, but we're talking about someone who was one of the architects of the anti-apartheid struggle. I learned from her, set her feet, and Sister Warrior Safia Bukhari, who stood up in a court of law and said, you cannot try me in your courts of law because I'm a citizen of the Republic of New Africa. And, she was a political prisoner of war. And so these are just some of the people that I drank from their cup of wisdom and knowledge.
Tell us a bit about your time with Queen Mother Moore. What is one of the most memorable experiences you had with her?
Well, one of the most memorable experiences is me seizing the moment and putting my baby just born in her arms and getting an iconic photo. I mean, I'm just saying that just meant so much to me. It was at an NCOBRA conference in 1994 in Detroit. And, we were on the platform and the stage together. Queen Mother was in very failing health at that time in a wheelchair. And I said, Queen Mother, can you just cradle my baby? And she just smiled and put my baby, that was like one generation to another, actually 3 generations, Queen Mother, myself, and my daughter. But one of the things about Queen Mother, never be afraid to speak your passion. She spoke about reparations long before it was fashionable or acceptable for anybody to talk about. It was because of Queen Mother Moore that the inspiration from the Garvey movement, from the Nation of Islam, through the Republic of New Africa, through NCOBRA, the National Coalition of Black Reparations in America, and through the NARC, the National African American Reparations Commission, all of that sprang through the wisdom, of Queen Mother Moore, and she is definitely an unsung hero. So I wanted to sing a little bit about her as part of my dedication in the book.
You first got stung, I guess we shall say, by the reparations bee when you were involved and learning it about and understanding the Black Panther Party.
Yeah, actually, I was never a Black Panther, but I used to sell Black Panther papers downtown every Saturday on, I would say, 13th and G Street in front of this little earring store. And, one day I just sat down on the curb. I was tired. You up here selling paper and all like that. And I just opened up the paper. I mean, I'd opened it up before, but I hadn't not really actually sat down and read every little thing. And I looked to the what we want, what we believe, and that point number 3, I think it was, of the 10-point program, talking about reparations, talking about, payback for, for slavery. And I'm looking at that and saying, dang, we ain't never got paid. I mean, all of this that we went through, and there was so much I did not know back in those days, but in my bones, I knew that there was just something not right with where we were at that particular time. That was in the, when was that? That was in the early 70s, around 71, something like that, 72, and where we are today, and we're still fighting for that now.
Now you say you were not a member of the Black Panther Party. You didn't.
No. I used to just sit on the lap of that fine brother who was pulling security in the front office.
Let's talk about that.
Google.
How old were you when you run around sitting on folks' laps at the Black Panther Party headquarters? Talk to us about that. See, we're gonna sell this book. See, that's stuff people want to read about. Now, whose lap were you sitting in, and why were you sitting in folks' laps?
I say his name. I wonder if he ever even know. But anyway, it was I was 16 years old, and they were having these PE. There was this front office. This was on 7th and T Street at the time, 7th and whatever, my brains. And then in the back office, there was PE, political education classes going on. And I would go into political education classes, but most of the time, you know, these people said, come on, sit on my lap, sister. So I, you know, did. And I'm looking at this book. They used to have this little red book, Chairman Mao, quotations, Chairman Mao. And I asked the brother if I could borrow the book. And I just will never, ever forget. He just very magnanimously gave me the book. And I said, well, when do I have to return it? He said, when you have internalized this knowledge, my sister. And I just felt that was the most revolutionary thing I had ever heard in my 16 years. And I had that little red book, and I don't think I ever gave it back. I'm not sure where it is now. But, you know, these were the things that I impressed upon me and impressed upon my, on my young mind.
And I'm sure sitting in that lap had impact on you too.
Well, I just say I was a good girl, so okay. It didn't go beyond that.
But now, wait a minute now. There's another part of your history. Now, there's a missing sex tape. See, Nkechi, we gotta talk about that.
I gotta have to read the book for that one.
No, come on, you gotta give us a little tease.
Is
this a celebrity?
Huh?
Is this a celebrity that you?
No, this wasn't a celebrity. Oh no. Just what? See, listen, it's really important to understand that I'm a human being. Okay, I do things that other human beings do. I'm not above or beyond or below or anything along those lines. And it's a little bit deeper that went into that story. You have to read about it in the book. That little vignette, it's not a whole story. That's just a little one of the vignettes, but it showed some of the vulnerabilities and you know, personal stuff. You know, it wasn't all politics and struggle.
And the only other thing I'm gonna mess with you about, isn't it also true? It's in the book. You were in the classifieds looking for a husband, or something like that.
Y'all always going on all that juicy stuff. Yeah, well, you know, you be so much involved in struggling all the time. You don't get a chance to meet people and all like that. And one of my girlfriends who happened to be a dentist, I saw her. I said, "What you doing, girl?" And this was long before Cupid and Black People Meet or whatever all those things are out there now. And she was in the Washington Post classified. And she said, "Oh, I'm looking to find me a man." I said, "What the hell?" In the Washington Post classified. But then the seed was playing in my mind. I said, God dang, maybe let me take a look at this, you know. So I wrote me a little ad. And I ain't saying nothing else about that. Okay, let's go on to one more thing. That's it on that. But read my book.
It's in the book. So this was mine. I'm sure this didn't make the book, but Nkechi and I were laughing with each other a couple of months ago because somebody on Facebook had decided that Nkechi is my son's mother, is Memoir's mother. And we were trying to figure that out, where did it come from? So people, you know, but folks, the real stuff, that's not real. The real stuff is in the book that Nkechi has written, and we invite you, please, ma'am, please, sir, to check it out. You involved in the RNA case. You know, let me run something by you. I was talking to some young people recently about where our movement is today.
Yes.
And how a lot of it is more driven by social media and organization. And I was saying part of that might be, you know, our generation, Nkechi, may have a hard time imparting to the young generation the importance of solid organization, because we may still have PTSD from our organizations being hit so hard by COINTELPRO. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you're very much correct. But one of the things I hope that the young people know and realize today, they're undergoing some of the same issues that we went through, and they need to sit at our feet. Those of us who are still living, we're dying off, you know, also as well, and learn from our trials and our tribulations and our triumphs, and not repeat the same mistakes that we made. I tell some very real personal stories of issues within movements. Look at that. Don't make some of those mistakes. Some of the things we determined we were not going to make, which is why Brother Chokwe Lumumba and Brother Mario Badeli ended up coming together. They were not going to succumb to that COINTELPRO. And I tell about that and other things as well. So I think that the young people today, and a lot of them are sitting at the feet of the elders. And as Franz Fanon, or one of our great leaders, said, need to determine their mission and fulfill it or betray it. That's what each generation must do. I tried to do it as part of my generation, and that's why I here the book to try to relate some of that. But that's what the next generation has to do for those that come after them as well.
Hope y'all get yourselves together. Tell everyone, Black Power, Black Lawyer, it's out. The RNA, the Black Panther Party, the Capitol bombing case, the crack and powder cocaine sentencing disparity. Nkechi has made some moves.
Anti-apartheid movement.
Anti-apartheid movement, saved some lives, got some folk out of jail, missing sex tape in it. All of that is there for you. I know y'all gonna go straight to that page. But you know, those of us who've grown up with Nkechi, we gonna go right to that page. All the stuff we witnessed, we were there for that. So congratulations, sister. And let me just say this. I commend you for having the discipline to do this. Most of us either do this too late or don't get a chance to do it at all. And you know, Du Bois did it too early. He ended up, I think, with 2 or 3 autobiographies. So this is your first, because I know you're not finished. So there'll be another one, I'm sure, in the second half of your life. But we congratulate you. Congratulations on all the work you've done. And thank you for being such a tireless and eternally vigilant, as Frederick Douglass said, eternally vigilant soldier on behalf of our people. Kwame Nkrumah said, we will determine the revolutionary awareness of a nation by the political maturity of its women. And so if our revolutionary awareness is to be determined by the political maturity of Nkechi Taifa, we are doing great. Amen. Thank you, Nkechi.
So much, my brother. Peace and blessings to you. Love you so much, and forever and ever. And you keep making it plain.
And I'm gonna enjoy this book launch party.
Yes, indeed.
Dude. And if any of y'all at the party know about the missing sex tape, just put the details in the chat so the rest of us can see it. So we can... All right. Amen. Thank you.
Peace out, my brother.